I was watching the CPAC 2021, and that's when when the Republicans, the conservatives, they talk about what they're gonna do with the years going forward, leading up to the next election, and how we were talking about Trump's gonna come back and try to rally his troops and come back with a vengeance and all that stuff. It's exactly what he did. I caught like like 20 minutes of him talking. You know what I'm saying? Because I only could take so much of just listening to him. But like the first thing he talked about was what the capture and release policy I think that Biden has in place when it comes to like illegal immigrants, where they just capture them, take their names down, whatever it may be, and release. And he made like a big deal about it. But the thing that he kind of like focused on was more so of the bad immigrants that come in, the people that aren't doing the right thing in terms of like people that may be associated with violent crimes or have been criminals in the countries that they're coming from, whatever it may be. But what he failed to discuss about, in my opinion, was the people that come to the country to, like you said, to seek asylum, to think to find a new way of life because they're living in their old country isn't ideal. So let's jump back to the catch and release thing. How do you guys feel about that law when it comes to immigrants and stuff like that?
So I mean, immigration is one of those tricky subjects, Mills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm all for immigration as long as it's done the right way. You know what I'm saying? You want
Yeah.
people to come in and become citizens the right way. As far as how it should be handled. So it's just they just catch them, write their names down, and they can go. I don't
know
know
if it's
how I
that cut and
necessarily
dry.
feel
I don't know
about
if it's
that.
that cut and dry. But that's obviously in the rhetoric when he was talking. That's why we made a scene to project his ideas to his masses of people. Do you feel me?
That seems like if you're just gonna be letting anybody in and not holding them accountable for coming in illegally, I don't like that at all.
What about you, Moose? How you feel about that?
Just his capture and release policy. Everything that he's saying is going to happen is not going to happen in terms of immigration. If everything, just me seeing that he basically has the same cabinet as the Obama administration, and just knowing that they already started opening cages up again, to put illegal immigrants in. I don't see him in any way, shape, or form just like saying you're going to get captured and get released. Now they're going to stay there for extended periods of time. And how I really feel about it is like, what you have to understand is that when it comes to immigration, like you said, there are people that want to come here for asylum. There are people that are coming here to seek a new life. That stuff is stressful. And what ends up happening is that there may be a lot of different circumstances that people deal with. I know people personally that have stayed in America and that aren't legal citizens, and they're technically here illegally. So it's like, for me, I don't want to sit here and just be like, every single case is wrong, because not everybody that comes here is a bad person. So it's like, I feel like we should be a lot more sensitive about the topic, just not because of the fact of, basically just because of the fact of there's a lot more to it than people just thinking that, oh yeah, like you're just here and it is what it is.
I think when you're talking about something like this, you want to be very, very clear, make your point very, very clear, like sort of dumb it down if you have to for it to make sense. You know what I mean? Because immigration is, it's a big topic and it's a tricky topic to discuss.
Why do you think that though?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Why does think
in terms of why do you think that?
Just because of the way people feel about immigrants coming here. There's a lot of families that are immigrants, and like you said, not all of them are here legally. You know what I mean? So I think you want people. I have no issue again with people coming here to seek a new life, like you said, but I think they ought to go about it the right way.
Do you?
Go ahead.
No, you can finish. I was going to ask, like, what do you define it as the right? How do you define that as the right way? Because it's like, what people don't understand, like, there's a lot of things that people don't understand about just even getting a meeting, just even being able to go to the embassy and go to different places and try to become a citizen is even difficult in itself, just because there's a lot of different processes that you have to take. Like,
no doubt.
Like I'll be a little bit transparent here. Like my uncle, for example, he's technically here legally because he's on a work visa. But it's like, just even that, it's like, what my uncle does is basically works on cell phone towers, like how we have our data on our phone. Like he's in charge of the towers and making sure that you have the best range, right? And he studied that in Nigeria. he got here, he had to get put in like 3-4 different states, mind you. Like my little cousin stay in Jersey, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he had to stay in South Carolina for like 2-3 years. He had to stay in Florida for like a year, Texas for like a year, all these different things because of the fact that he had a work visa and that's where they wanted to put him. Um, and it was really, really difficult. And that's why I said it's like, how do you go about things the right way? Because it's like there's even some people who, like my uncle, there was a case where his visa was expiring and he didn't know what he was going to do because he was working through a temp firm. So it's a little bit difficult because it's like, what do you define it as the right way when you have, for example, your kids may be here and they're legal, they're U.S. citizens, but you're not. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah, I
mean
get what
that.
you're saying. The process is definitely flawed. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's a way to make the process better because it takes even people that I'm talking about the right way, about people that take all the necessary steps. But with those steps, I get what you're saying. It can take up to 10 years, 10 plus years just to become a legal citizen. But as far as it goes, I think you definitely want people here for the right reasons and to be here legally and pretty much for themselves, because if not, you get put in these detention centers, you get sent back home, you know, you can get jail time because of it. So I mean, it's tricky because these people, they're not worried about, they're willing to risk all that just to come here. So that's why I say it's like a tricky thing to talk about. There's no right way to go about it. There's a lot of other countries that don't want to let nobody else in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
another thing that popped up that Trump has said in his speech today was dealing with immigration is like he's like, we're one country, we should be focused on our problems and not the world's problems when it came to like people immigration. I kind of didn't like that in a sense. And just like the tone of what he said, like, yeah, you're supposed to be focused on the domestic and all that stuff like that, but I feel as though if there's people coming here for the opportunity that we present to the world, because that's something that America does all the time, we're the land of opportunity, whatever it may be, and they're willing to take the proper steps, as Shannon was talking about, to come here the correct way, whatever that may be. Like I said, the system is flawed when it comes to that. They should be allowed to. If it's not hurting our country in any way, I don't think there should be a cap necessarily on who can enter and who can't enter, as long as it's not gonna harm us in the long run. And that's where like your background checks, I feel like, come into play. The government in general just doing the research on the people that are coming in. Um, do you think it's our country's duty to allow people that are seeking a better life to allow them to come in, or do you think we don't necessarily have to?
Like I'm saying, this is tricky because you think about it, like you don't want to let any bad people in, like let's just use for example like terrorists.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You want to make sure people are coming here for the right reasons. You know, so I mean, I don't know exactly how you can do that in a basic interview process to get like a work visa or something here, because people could be lying. You don't know what somebody's true intentions are.
I
So
feel you.
it's just a tricky situation.
Um, I think Trump really sounds fucking stupid. The reason why I say that is just like it's disrespectful to people who come into this country and work their ass off and, you know, put the US in a good light and put a lot of these world renowned companies in a good light because they work their asses off. When you look at things like IT, you look at when you look at things like IT, you look at things like business. When you look at when we look at a lot of other business financial companies, a lot of people that work there are either white or Asian or some type of minority. They're not directly American sometimes. They take a lot of minorities take up a lot of space when it comes to doing that. Like when you go to Rutgers, most of these Asian kids that go there study business, they study some type of IT or some type of web design. They're all in the technical field. So it's like these people that come in to essentially make your companies and make your places look better, for you to sit here and say, oh, we shouldn't be focused on their problems, we should be only be focused on our problems. Part of your problems is making the world better. Like we've put ourselves in a position where we have to be the world police. So you can't now sit here and now say, when it comes to people now coming in and wanting to make their lives better, you can't now say, oh, I don't want to focus on those problems. It's like saying now somebody gets robbed, and as a result, you want to go to the police, you want to go to the police station to make yourself feel safe. But you go to the police station and says, oh, we don't want to deal with that. Like it does.